The second arc of the Clone Wars Season 7 I don't think is that good. However, a lot of people seem to think that this arc is useless, which is incorrect because Trace and Rafa are very important to Ahsoka's story. In this video, I explain why the Trace and Rafa arc is so important to the Clone Wars Season 7. But before I continue on with this video, only about 14.6% of my viewers are subscribed to this channel. So if you enjoy this video and you love Star Wars, then consider subscribing. It's free, easy, and you can always change your mind. Anyway, let's get on with the video. So why is the Trace and Rafa arc so important to the Clone Wars Season 7? Well, as I said earlier, it has to do with Ahsoka. Before the 7th season of the Clone Wars was released, it was obvious that there was something important that was missing from Ahsoka's story. We last saw her in the Clone Wars when she was leaving the Jedi Order, and then we see her fighting with the Rebellion in Rebels as a non-Jedi. If you think about it, it doesn't really make sense that Ahsoka would want to resemble anything that represents a Jedi, considering she rejected them before. So in this video, we are going to look at how the Trace and Rafa arc and the Siege of Mandalore perfectly fill in the gap between Star Wars Rebels and her expulsion from the Jedi Order. The first and most important thing that we see in the Trace and Rafa arc is that we see Ahsoka destroy the like button to this video. Just kidding. So we begin this arc with Ahsoka trying to make her way as an ordinary citizen on Coruscant. When you think about it, her leaving the Jedi Order was a decision that changed her life in every possible way. As a Jedi, she will always be cared for by the Jedi and in a sense have some security. She knows what her job is and she doesn't really have to worry about losing it. But since she left, she's now completely on her own. I would argue that Ahsoka begins this arc with a similar mindset that Luke had in the beginning of The Last Jedi. Now, she didn't exile herself, and she doesn't believe the Jedi need to end per se, but she does believe that there does need to be a significant change within the Jedi Order. She stumbles across Trace, who is clearly just some ordinary naive girl who needs help. I think this just shows Ahsoka's kind nature. She believes that if someone needs help, you help them. This is what a Jedi should believe, but after living through the Clone Wars, she knows this isn't what most Jedi believe anymore. She devoted her life to the Jedi, and all because of some false accusation, she was almost terminated. When it came to Ahsoka's trial, they were so quick to find her guilty even though they knew her for her entire life. Imagine how betrayed she felt. The Jedi know how good-hearted she is. While she may have been reckless at times like her master, she always believed in good and tried her best to help people. And just like that, it seems like all the Jedi completely forgot about that and decided to expel her. When Barriss confronts everyone at Ahsoka's trial, she basically says something that Ahsoka will inevitably somewhat agree with.
And my attack on the temple was an attack on what the Jedi have become. An army fighting for the dark side, fallen from the light that we once held so dear. This republic is failing!
She may not think that the Jedi were villains, but that they have lost their way. And when Ahsoka is offered to rejoin the Council, Mace Windu gives this smug remark that the Jedi didn't make a mistake, but that this was her great trial.
This was actually your great trial. Now we see that. We understand that the Force works in mysterious ways. And because of this trial, you have become a greater Jedi than you would have otherwise.
So she decided to leave because she no longer believed what the Jedi believed in. Now we get to the Trace and Rafa arc. Ahsoka hears a story about how their parents were killed by the recklessness of the Jedi, more specifically Luminara. I thought this scene was brilliant. We watched the show thinking that the Jedi are all good and that they can cause no harm. But with this scene, we begin to realize that there are consequences to the Jedi's actions that they seem to ignore. Even worse, apparently when Luminara had to confront a grieving Trace and Rafa, she just told them that she had to make a choice and that the Force would be with them. Imagine saying that to two kids who just lost their parents and watched them die. I think in this moment, Ahsoka began to realize what Luke realized at the end of The Last Jedi. The Jedi of old were very flawed and made a lot of mistakes, but that doesn't mean you can't represent what a Jedi should be. This is why when Bo-Katan shows up, she is willing to help. In the first episode of the Siege of Mandalore, we see Ahsoka's newfound point of view on display. She asks Anakin and Obi-Wan if they could help. Obi-Wan talks about how treaties are preventing them from helping in the Mandalore conflict. Ahsoka and Bo get annoyed at this, and a few minutes later, right when they're about to leave for Mandalore, Obi-Wan informs them that they need to abandon all plans to go rescue the Chancellor on Coruscant. Ahsoka says something that a lot of people criticize, but I think it was a fair statement. Ahsoka gets annoyed because Obi-Wan is essentially putting the lives of the Chancellor and those on Coruscant over the lives of those on Mandalore. Obi-Wan reasonably says that obviously the capital of the Republic and its leader are more important. Ahsoka concludes by saying how this is why the ordinary people have lost faith in the Jedi, and I think both people here have reasonable responses. Obi-Wan is clearly right that an attack on the capital of the Republic is really important. But Ahsoka also has the right to feel frustrated that again the Republic is abandoning the people on Mandalore. If we never got the Trace and Rafa arc where she realized how the ordinary person views the Jedi, then her actions in the Siege of Mandalore wouldn't make any sense. How would Ahsoka know what the ordinary person thinks? I think this is why in Rebels she's reluctant to call herself a Jedi, because she knows how hypocritical and wrong the Jedi of the prequels still were. And right before Order 66, we get a brief conversation with Ahsoka and Rex, where again she reflects on being a Jedi and the war. She is correct in showing how the Jedi lost their way and why she couldn't bring herself to return to the Jedi Order. I think it's really neat how almost all the Jedi that decided to kill the clones after Order 66 died, while Ahsoka tried to spare their lives and was able to escape and survive. If she was never selfless, then she wouldn't have tried to save Rex and thus wouldn't have escaped. Is this a coincidence? Maybe, but I thought it was interesting to note nonetheless. Again, I don't think the arc with Trace and Rafa is all that good. I think the arc could have been much better and Trace could have been much less annoying, but it is clear why this arc was added to Season 7 and why it is so important. Thank you everyone so much for watching another one of my videos. I have a video here about how I think the Clone Wars saved Anakin, and I have a video here about how I think the Clone Wars saved the clones. I hope everyone has a wonderful day, don't forget to unite the Claude Squad, and I will see you guys next time.